All right, well, this is my new acquisition. 1979 GMC Vandura 3/4 ton G25. Was a camper van. This is all painted, not sticker, not decals. This is all paint. Down here you can even see there's a, I believe to be a signature of whoever painted it. So it is in extremely patinaed condition, and this is prime for a paint treatment. I forget what the hell it's called. So, a couple minor issues. This tire, it's got a belt separation. You can almost see it. Doesn't shake, doesn't vibrate, but I'm getting new tires next week. Today is June the 12th, Thursday. I've got LED headlights coming for it. Actually, they're here. I got to get them on. See, it's already got a transmission cooler. Here's the driver's seat, driver interior. Power door locks. Door sticks a bit, but there's the interior. So this was a camper van, and it is now not. This is what I'm going to put on. Linseed oil, there you go. I'm going to do the linseed oil treatment on this paint, and on the doors it's a little rough. I'm going to put linseed oil on that and see how that comes out. Wood floor, so I got plywood. I'm going to refloor this, carpet it. I'm going to probably get a carpet kit. I was thinking of doing shag, which would be kind of cool, but kind of want to make it look halfway decent back here. See the diamond or checker padded headliner. It's got the mood lights there. They all work, but they're falling out, so I need to get either the O-rings to hold them in or get new ones. And I need to get speaker grills because the speakers are exposed. And it needs a stereo, which I have. It comes with one. And so, other than the tires, when I first bought it, wouldn't shift out of first gear, so I had it towed into the city. Just bought it out of town, about 20 minutes out of town. I'll get into that, and also we'll get into the drivability issue, which is a bit of a surging. So we'll get into that and see where that takes us. But anyhow, that's the vehicle. Vintage. 58,000 K on the odometer, and I'm thinking, and anybody that knows this van, because it came from a smaller town, thinks that's original, because the guy who had this before me lived in it for a while. Not the guy that I bought it from. The guy he bought it from kind of lived in it. This is the only rust right here. So what I'll do is I'm going to cut that out and put weld a new piece in there. But there you go. A new project, like this wood grain. That's painted on. That's not a decal. That's pretty cool. This is painted. You don't find that anymore. So anyhow, keep watching. We'll get into this thing. Okay, here's the inside of the van. The floors, so essentially this was gutted. It was a camper. Don't worry, don't mind that toilet there. That's for the cottage. This was a camper van, and it's been gutted by the previous owner. So the plywood is going to be the floor. I'm going to lay that on top of the metal floor, and I'm going to get a carpet kit and carpet this up. I was going to go with a shag carpet, kind of like that type of deal, but I think I'm going to buy a proper carpet kit and make it look right, as opposed to a hacked in setup. So let's get this down here, get a little bit of air ventilation. So it's got the sliding door. Now, one of the issues I've been having with this van, two issues, one is resolved, one is partially resolved, is the first one is it wouldn't shift out of first gear. And then upon driving a little bit more frequently, I could get it to shift if I manually had it in first gear and then shift it up into second and then down into first again, and it'd still stay in first, and then into second, then it would shift. All indications when that happens are show towards the vacuum line off the modulator, either at the intake or on the transmission. In this case, the vacuum line came off the modulator. When you visually look at it, everything looks good. So, initially I looked at it when I had the actual vehicle towed in from where I had bought it, just because I didn't want to drive it in first gear. When it was in the air, I looked, it was there, but taking a little bit further there, I just crawled underneath the van, and sure enough, the thing looked like it was hooked up, but it wasn't. I hooked it up, and then the transmission shifts great. The other issue is that I have a off idle stumble. So there's a transition between idle circuit to the main circuit. There's, like, if you just hold it, and it's kind of like cruising at 50-60k, or holding a steady speed, where it's still just kind of transitioning between the two, the idle and the main. It would stumble, it would surge. Okay, so I've done a little bit of work to kind of alleviate that. It is better, but I'm not there yet. And I'll show you what I did here, so stay tuned. First, I got to get this doghouse off, get that out of the way. So hang tight here, and we'll get this get a look at the engine here, so hang tight. Okay, so you can see on the odometer, I don't know if you can see that, but it's got 58,697 kilometers. I almost think that may be original. It still has the original shocks on the back. It's got new ones on the far, different aftermarket ones on the front, but in any case, there's the engine. 350 cubic inch. It's got air conditioning, which seems to function. I don't think I have the vent controls here. I don't think are working properly. At least this is stiff. These do move around, but I don't think I'm getting the proper airflow up through the vents here. I don't know that's changing, so that's something I got to look into. It's not really a big deal right now. And I got to charge up the AC, so I'm just waiting for an adapter to convert that to a 134. Got an Edelbrock carb on it. Had original Quadrajet, and I guess it had some drivability issues. I'm not sure exactly what that was, but it wasn't running right, so they put this thing on. Now, this is a 1406, which comes with a electric choke, and what I found, and I'll show here in a sec, was that at parts, just lifting it off throttle, I can get it to kind of hover and kind of flutter a bit. A couple things that I've already done is, one, I've changed out just to eliminate ignition, most of it, put a new cap and rotor on it, and different coil, so a newer coil, or different coils, not new, but didn't really fix anything. I changed a couple of wires where I sprayed them down with water, and looked like a couple were a little cool. But so I changed the wires out, and it seemed to help a little bit. Every kind of little things help here and there. The other thing, if you can see it, this is the pump shot right here. It was on the third down hole on there, which makes it a very small, quick, small pump shot. So I put it on the middle, and I might even put it on the one closest to the pin here, which will give it the longest shot. But the middle one seems to be working okay. There's no hesitation there, so I don't really have a need to change that out. But the step-up springs here, I don't know what's been done to this carburetor. I don't know that it's stock out of the box or whether it's been changed around. But I'm gonna change out the step-up springs here, put stiffer springs in there so that the needles will come up with less vacuum. Okay, so that way it'll enrich in the mixture somewhat, and eventually I might change out the metering rods, put some thicker metering rods in there, or thinner, but I don't have them here. I have them at my shop out at the lake. So let's get these things out. I'm going to start the engine. You can see how they work, and then I'm going to drive it, and you can see how they lift up when there's no vacuum. And then we're going to change them out and put the different springs in, and we'll drive it again. So then I'm just going to mess around with the timing a bit. The nice thing with these vans is you've got easy access to this part of the engine. It's nice, it's all there. The seats are a little in the way sometimes, so you have to twist, get around stuff. Stuff at the front of the engine's a real pain. But you can crawl over, you got easy access, especially adjusting the timing here. It's very easy. I'm not going to use a timing light because you can't even see the balancer on the front. I'm just going to advance it a touch here, and think I'm gonna at least try. I'm going to put the vacuum advance to a manifold port so that it's got vacuum advance, pulls the advance up at idle, and then as you throttle it, it'll reduce it, so it'll move it around a bit. But see how that works, because sometimes the timing can, if it's out of whack, can cause that stumble. Edelbrock carbs are typically fairly straightforward, but I don't know about this one. It works. I mean, accelerates good, all that kind of stuff is fine, but yeah, it's just don't know what I'm working with. So let's do that. I got to get this open, then we'll go for a quick burn, and then we'll change them out, and then we'll try it again. And I'm going to actually put a vacuum gauge on the manifold port so I know what the actual vacuum is on the engine. So let's do that. Stay tuned. The other thing that I noticed, it's pretty easy, but this pin right here for the shifter is popping out, and that would be a real pain in the ass if that came out and then this thing came out. So I'm just gonna use a pair of channel locks and squeeze that in there. That's easy, probably too easy, that's why it came out. And we'll get this thing fired up. So to do this, you take a Torx head screwdriver or a Allen key style wrench. You just turn this out, you flip these out of the way, the covers, and you'll see this pop up. Now, do that on the other side. So you see that pop up. Now I'm gonna find my vacuum gauge there, and we'll hook that up. Okay, vacuum gauge is on. Let's start it up here. Watch keep your eye on these things here, on the step up metering rods. Okay. See how they separate in there. Running. Not a lot of vacuum. It's about 13, 14 inches of vacuum. Idle's a little low. This is where adjusting your timing will help that out. But let's just go for a quick little trip, and you can see how that throttle it, that will come up. So. Alright, so to change these out, it's just a simple matter of you pull your metering rod out, get a grip on it, and then I just use the rod itself to pull the spring up. So here's what come out. Okay, and this is what's going in. So this is a much stiffer spring. I don't want to drop it, but it's a stiffer spring, and it is also, I believe, where'd it go? I think it's a little longer too. So it's a longer spring by okay. Maybe like 1/8 of an inch, 3/16 of an inch or something like that. Spring goes inside, just drop it in there, metering rod. So this part here goes on top of the spring. That's it. So now it'll come up quicker, hopefully. I'll do this side here. And grab the other one. Put that in there. Like that. Okay, so let's try it again here. Watch it go down. This one here is a little, okay. See how it sucks it down. make any difference, but it's worth a shot. And if it doesn't, we'll just leave them in there. See, they do come up a little bit quicker. Now let's see what the drivability is like. Tighten those caps down, and then we'll I think we'll proceed with messing around with the timing somewhat. Okay, so I got them buttoned down. It's a little bit better. It's starting to rain, and I have wipers, intermittent wipers yet. Back to the garage here before it starts dumping hard. All right, so that a little bit of an improvement. I'm going to disconnect the vacuum advance now, and I'm going to run a line to the manifold port. I've got one with I got a T here on this line, so I'm going to run the vacuum gauge off of here, this off the carb, and that to the distributor. So stay tuned. And it's pouring rain out right now. I don't know if you can see that. So okay, we'll get that done. Okay, so I got that on. You see the line right here off the distributor, goes to the port manifold, and then I got this line here hooked to the vacuum gauge. Now it was just below 15 inches of vacuum. Let's just see here what the vacuum is now. So again, probably 2 inches of vacuum. It does idle a little smoother. And you'll see how when I throttle it, the vacuum gauge will go down. That's pulling timing out when I do that. Right there, so you can hear that. That's where that idle. So I think ultimately some dirt's in this carburetor, and I'm going to wind up having to take it off. But I want to get it as drivable as I can before I go and do that. So the other thing I'm going to do is change out these ignition wires. But I'm going to wait till I got a cold engine, because them manifolds get pretty hot. So let's do a quick little tour here, see if that makes any difference. It did bring the idle up a touch. Not a lot, but I don't think this engine's gonna make a ton of vacuum. It's only like 8.5 to 1 compression. You know, big old 160, 170 horsepower. So pretty weak. No, it's not liking that. really making much of a difference. I'm going to try advancing the timing just by ear, just move it up a touch and see if that helps. So we'll go back and see what that brings. So probably one of the issues here is if you watch the vacuum gauge, that's fluctuating, it's pulling it and retarding the timing, so it's actually making it worse. So we're not gonna go with that setup. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna pull over here and put that back to the way it was, and then we'll get back and I'll adjust the timing. A little better, but not by much. Say slightly better, a little more subtle, I guess. Alright, just might be getting used to it. It's hard to say. But we'll get this thing parked and I'll adjust the timing out. Don't know whether you can hear that, but it's almost like it's missing a couple cylinders, so I'm going to adjust the timing. Then when it cools down, I'm going to change these wires out. But it's just that speed. Now if I, right there is where it chugs, I get past that, it's good. So right there, gauge isn't fluctuating, so that to me says that I don't have a vacuum or a bad valve or a bad cylinder or something like that. If I did, that'd be bouncing all over the place. Or, you know, a bad cam. This needle would just be fluctuating all over, and it's not, it's steady. Well, once the idle or the engine speed catches up, you throttle it, you hold it, then it's almost like it's running out of fuel. So I have a feeling there's a problem with the transfer slot on this carburetor. And I don't know what was wrong with the original quad, which I got in the back there somewhere. But in any case, I'm going to advance the timing because if nothing else, I got nothing else to do. So let's try that. Okay, so I marked where the distributor is now. I don't know if you can see that and all the wires there, but anyhow, I got a mark there. So I got to reach in. Okay, and so there. Don't know if you can see that or not, but okay, let's just loosen that up to Okay, so let's move. Let's fire it up here. That's retarding. This is advancing. Got a couple more inches of vacuum there, about 3 or 4 inches. So I'll tighten this down and we'll go for a little run. Okay, let's give this a shot. Essentially, I just don't want it to ping. It gives a little bit better response, and that's good too. I think factory timing is 8 degrees or something like that, so it's pretty mild. Let's see how it goes. That thumbs up. There we go. Still doing it. So I'm calling it a lean surge, because if it was electrical it would do it all the time, or more than likely do it all the time. Nothing's a given, but as soon as I get off the idle circuit it runs fine, like now. Just good, all that. You're kind of going into coast mode. Carburetor's got to come off, but I'm not going to do that today. So I'll just put this back together, and that's about all I can do today, I think. So we'll stay tuned. We'll do another update here a little later on. All right, I got the doghouse on. That's how it looks. Interior is pretty good considering this is a 79. I just received my R134 conversion, so I'm going to get that installed and then we'll juice up the AC. But in the meantime, I got to make a run to the Princess Auto, which in the US is Harbor Freight equivalent. I want to see if I can get some speaker grills like that, if they have that. These lights, because I got 3 sets of these things and only they need these O-rings to hold the lights in, so maybe get a replacement for that. I got 2 in the back there. The middle one's good, the one in the back not so good, so see what we can do there. And then eventually I've got a brand new stereo I can throw in there, or this one came with a stereo that was pulled out. So we'll play that one out. So anyhow, thanks for watching. Didn't really fix anything, made it a little bit better. The carburetor's got to come off as far as I can tell. So we'll play that out later. I'm not prepared to do that right now. That'll be next week probably. So we'll call this the quits on this video, on this episode of the 1979 GMC Vandura. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.